The background image is usually the picture that's in the background that you're placing plants, decorative concrete, or pavers onto. It could be a blank canvas, but most of the time it's a photograph. You can manipulate the pictures that are in the background by going up here to File and click on Background Image. You see that there are 4 options here: Replace, Crop, Resize, and Rotate. We'll explain each one of these. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate the background image commands in the order of which they're listed, because you're going to be using Resize probably 80 or 90% of the time. I'm going to cover that first. So let's click on Resize. It brings up this menu here. Right now the width is saying that it's 1300 pixels, meaning that this picture in the background is 1300 pixels wide and it's 975 pixels tall. When you have maintain aspect ratio turned on, if I change this number here to say 800 and if I click OK, the height is also going to change in ratio to the number that I just changed on the width. If this is not checked, you can put them at any numbers you want and you're going to get distortion. So I'm going to change it at 800, but I'm going to turn off maintain aspect ratio and watch what happens. You'll see that the picture is actually squished and it's not proportional. Also, you'll notice that the driveway is now over here between the houses and everything is cattywampus. That's because the objects and defined areas and textures stay where they were and the picture in the back has sized down. So that's why you're going to get everything in a weird place, because you sized the background picture down without sizing everything else, which the moral of the story is you can't do that. So I'm going to go up to Edit and click Undo, and it undid the sizing and everything is back to where it should be. Now I'm going to size it again, but this time I'm going to have Maintain Aspect Ratio checked there, and I'll place in 800 here and click OK, and you'll see that the house was not distorted. And again, everything is in the wrong place because now the whole picture has sized down and these objects are now in the street. Again, it doesn't really work that way. You can't size down the background picture without it affecting everything you've put on it. So the moral of the story is size down your background picture first. Now I've opened a new picture on the screen, and you'll notice that this picture is fairly large. I have to scroll around the screen to see the image, and I can't see the whole thing at one time. This happens all the time. Everybody thinks that more is better, and in some cases it is, but you don't need this many pixels or this big of a picture to do your imaging on, especially depending on the size of your monitor and other factors, how much RAM you got, speed of your computer, etc. So let's go to File, Background Image, and go to Resize. We'll see that this picture, the width is 3,264 pixels. It's pretty big. It's bigger than what you really need. So usually you want to size the image down to fit on your screen and have it usually between 1200 and 1500 pixels. We're going to size this down to 1300, and we're going to keep maintain aspect ratio so the picture doesn't distort, and click OK. And you'll see now we can see the whole picture. Now in this picture it has a lot of street in the photograph, probably because this picture was taken from across the street so that we could get the whole house in, but we want to crop part of that off. I'm going to show you how to crop that off here in a minute. Now once you've sized a picture, it's always a good idea to save the image before you move on. So we're going to go here to File, Save As, navigate to the folder where you want to save the picture. Make sure your files of type is set to the file type that you want. I want a JPG in this case, and I'm going to call this one a demo 1300 and click Save. So now that file is saved. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you how you could replace a background picture. So let's say we have this image here, and we've done a fairly good job of landscaping, but we didn't sell the job. The customer doesn't have the budget for it, they don't like it, whatever it may be. But you want to use a similar design in this other house because you think it would work for it. May or may not, but it is a shortcut to getting everything on the screen. So what you could do is you could go here to File, go to Background Image, and go to Replace. Then navigate to the folder where you have the image that you want to replace it with, and here's the one I just saved called Demo 1300. I'll double click that and it brings it to the screen, and as you can see is almost instantly landscape. There's a few things that are in the wrong place and things are going to have to be changed, but for example, the grass here is probably in the wrong place. We'll just delete it. We may want to bring these shrubs and move them over. We got to define some new grass in here. These shrubs are in the wrong place, but look how quick and easy it is to move them over. The shrub was cut. We could just have to replace it. We'll delete that one, hit duplicate. This shrub here doesn't really work, but we'll bring it over to the side here. And these are all in kind of the wrong place, but you get the idea. It's way faster to landscape something using pictures that you've done in the past. You could just bring in your whole group of plantings and everything into an image by replacing the background. This also works really well when you're doing the lighting program, where you're taking an image from the imaging program and bringing it into the effects program. Now remember I showed you this picture was taken from across the street, so it's got a lot of street in it. It may happen to you and you want to know how to get rid of this street. A simple way is by using the crop command under background image. So if we go here to File and we go to Background Image and we go to Crop, you'll see you have four options here. You could crop off the top of the image, you could crop off from the bottom of the image, from the left or from the right. So you notice though that the right says 1300 pixels and the bottom says 975, and that was the size of the picture if you remember when we sized it down. We're going to crop it off from the bottom, so I'm going to just change this number to 875, cropping off 100 pixels off the bottom of the image. Then I click OK, and now you notice there's not as much street as there was, but it could use a little more. So we go back in here to crop again, and I'm going to take 150 off this time, so we'll go 725, and it got rid of the street pretty much completely. So that worked. Now if you wanted to cut off part of the sky and you already have objects in your image like we do here, it is not going to work because we cut off the bottom. That is just the stuff below where we did our imaging. But if you cut off from the top, it's going to shift all of the objects that you placed on the image. Let me just show you what that does and you'll understand. So we'll go here to crop. I'm going to take 100 pixels off the top. I click OK, and you can see I've taken 100 pixels off the sky here, but now everything has shifted down 100 pixels in the image, which is not what we want. So we're going to undo that. So the moral of the story on this is crop your image before you start doing any imaging on it, because it's just easier that way. If it's a situation like this where we were bringing in a picture from another image, you should have cropped it again before that. And usually sky is not too much of an issue. It's usually the driveways in the street that need to be cropped off. But that is how the crop tool works. Now sometimes when you take a picture, you may have your camera held a little cockeyed and the house is going to come off a little uneven, like this particular picture here is. It seems that I had the camera tilted just a little bit to the right. So you can level out the house and make it straight by using the rotate command. So we go up here to File, click on Background Image, and go here to Rotate. Now I'm guessing it needs to be rotated just 1 or 2 degrees counterclockwise. And if I put in 2 degrees here and click OK, it's going to do it clockwise, which is going to actually make it worse. But I want to show you that. So I'll click OK, and you see it rotated at 2 degrees clockwise. So I will go Edit Undo, and now go back into Rotate, and I'm going to put a minus sign in there and 2 degrees, and then click OK, and now it's leveled the image out. Now, what you'll see happens is you see that there's nothing up here. The sky is now gone because it rotated the picture and it replaced it with black. The same would be over here, but you can't see it on the side. So you're going to need to crop the image all the way around, top, bottom, right. So then you already learned how to use the crop tool. We'll go in here to background picture and click crop, and just put in, say, 50 pixels on each one of these. And we'll click OK. And as you can see, we've gotten rid of all the black. And then, of course, save your image.